well, if you want to help, by all means do.
Do you really mean that, Quentin?
I certainly do.
Then tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do it gladly.
Get the hell out of Tanquir so I don't have to worry about you.
Quentin, you're not being fair.
Oh, to whom?
To either one of us.
Helena, as far as I'm concerned, you're an uninvited guest. So you're on your own. And as far as Crocker is concerned, I'll do much better against him on my own.
Fine, you don't have to protect me. I can take care of myself.
It's not your life I'm concerned about, Helena. It's a question of your loyalty.
Quentin, that is a very unkind thing to say.
Besides, I told Nola that you would be leaving, and I intend on keeping my word.
Well, all you have to do is call her up and tell her I'm staying, so that you and I can protect each other from Silas.
Protecting me, Helena, hasn't exactly been a forte of yours in life. So I doubt very much if Nola or anyone else is going to believe you.
I've changed, Quentin. You must believe that.
How do you expect me to believe you when for the past 10 years you've concealed the fact that you failed to check the explosives on the day that Professor Renfield was killed?
I've told you now, haven't I?
Yes, and I wonder how much more you're keeping from me.
Nothing. I've told you everything I know.
Well, thank you, Helena. But you're still not going on that dig site with me, and that's final.
Quentin, you'd be making a terrible mistake by not taking me.
Perhaps. But I'm willing to face the consequences, so let's have no more discussion about it. Do you understand? I'll get it. Now, Mr. Llewellyn, come in. I'm so sorry that you were called out in the middle of the night.
No. I was delighted. Usually my job with the Bureau of Antiquities is very dull and uninteresting.
Good morning.
I'm so sorry to hear that you've been threatened. What exactly did you receive?
Well, first there was a note. And then a deadly, disgusting tarantula was delivered to my room on a dinner tray by one of the hotel waiters.
Really? Are you all right?
So far. But I don't mind telling you I was absolutely terrified. Isn't that right, Quentin?
No. Whoever this chap is, he obviously doesn't deal in subtleties. Do you have any enemies here in Tanquir?
Helena has enemies all over the world, but this particular one is not a native of Tanquir.
Oh, you know the man?
Yes, we are all too familiar with him.
His name is Crocker. Silas Crocker.
I see. And why do you think that this Mr. Crocker is out to hurt you?
Helena is not Silas's primary target. I am. Silas Crocker wants to kill me. Right about here, just to the east.
Yeah. I must say, I find it fascinating that you're going to carry on with Dr. Renfield's work, and most gratifying, too. I always felt that he was on the verge of making a really revolutionary discovery.
Oh, and so do I. Others as well, including Silas Crocker, and that's why I'd be most appreciative of the local police assisting me at the dig site.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to arrange that for you.
Good. Could you also arrange some protection for Helena's trip to the airport?
Isn't it amazing how Quentin can maintain his sense of humor in the most threatening situations?
I'm not being humorous, Helena. There's just no way you're coming with me to the dig site.
And there's no way I'm leaving Tanquir.
If I might suggest an alternative, perhaps it would be better for Miss Manzini to stay here in the city. I mean, she'd be very well protected here.
It sounds perfect. If I stay in the city and Silas is in Tanquir, I can serve as a decoy.
I don't think that's exactly what Mr. Llewellyn had in mind, Helena.
Nevertheless, darling, it's the least I can do.
Yes, Mr. Llewellyn, my colleague Gunther Legosi and I are going to need guns and the permits to carry them in this country. I would be appreciative of any assistance you could...
Yes, of course. Can I use your phone?
By all means.
Mr. Llewellyn, there's something I'd like to ask you also. Is it possible for you to check with the immigration authorities and see if Silas Crocker entered Tanquir?
Yes, I could do that, of course, but mightn't he be traveling under an assumed name?
No. Now, Silas isn't a man to take those precautions. He's far too egotistical.
Yes, she's right about that.
You both seem to know this chap very well.
Yes, too well.
Yeah, well, from what you tell me, he ought to be dealt with right away. Now, why don't I phone for your guards and the firearm and permits and all that from here, and then I'll go back to my office and check with immigration. I should have an answer for you within an hour.
You're very kind.
Oh, happy to oblige.
Mr. Llewellyn seems very competent. Let's hope he can keep us all safe.
He will, unless Silas gets to him first.
How could Silas possibly know of the protection Mr. Llewellyn's offered us?
Because Silas knew about my coming to Tanquir before I did. Silas is anticipating every move we make.
Quentin, you look so tired.
I'm all right.
Why don't you go lie down? I'll wait for Mr. Llewellyn.
No, I won't do that.
Why not? It's almost dawn, and you haven't slept since you left Springfield.
Thanks to you and your menagerie of well-wishers and friends. I don't get that.
Something for you, Mr. McCord.
Oh, thank you. Here.
Just waiting at my office when I
Clear that
got
desk
back
off,
there.
would you?
Quentin, be careful. You know what happened to me the last time I opened a package.
Yes, well, I think this one is safe. It's from Mrs. Renfield.
From Springfield?
No, from her home in Scotland.
Mrs. Renfield, is that Dr. Renfield's widow?
Yes, yes, it is. Here, help me uncrate it. Will you remove the
Quentin, for
shipping
God's
pins
sake, be
first?
careful. Anyone could have written the return address
You've got
on
the
that.
shipping pin?
Right.
All right.
Quentin-
Grab the handle. Ready? One,
What
two,
is
three.
it? What is it?
Careful. There we go.
Yeah.
Right up. Back. It's the model of the dig site. Mrs. Renfield mentioned in a note that it might help me find the answers that I'm looking for.
Mr. Llewellyn, were you able to find out anything from the immigration authorities?
Yes, I was, and I've got very good news for you both. Only a handful of Americans or Englishmen have been allowed into Tanquir since it reopened. And your friend Silas Crocker was not amongst those people.
Are you absolutely certain of that?
Absolutely. You and Mr. McCord and his assistant are the only archaeologists that have been granted admission. The rest seem to be businessmen that have been recognized by their colleagues here. Security is still very tight, and no tourist visas have been issued.
Well, then how can you account for the attacks on Miss Manzini?
Well, I'm afraid I can't. The only possibility I can come up with is that they were delivered by some emissary of Silas Crocker's, since he himself cannot possibly be in Tanquir.
I wish I could be as sure of that as you are.
This is a very fine model.
Yes, yes, it is.
Very detailed.
Professor Renfield was very thorough.
Could you show me approximately where your group will be located when you get to the site?
Well, our original campsite was here.
Yes.
So I assume Quentin will want to go back to the same spot. Am I right, Quentin?
Yes.
I see. Good. Well, I'll tell the guards where to station themselves. Well, now, if you'll excuse me, I really think I ought to be going. It's almost morning.
Oh, thank you so much for all your help, Mr. Llewellyn. We're both very appreciative.
It's a privilege to be able to assist you, Miss Manzini, and I'll keep in touch. I'll see you soon, Mr. McCord. Good night.
Good night.
Quentin, what are you thinking about?
Memories, Helena. So many memories.